Thank you for that. Hello, my name is Gareth, as you just heard, and I am a composer. And already, I can feel a tiny flush of shame at the uselessness of my job title. Because composers, who needs them, eh? So I think that little bit of shame encouraged me to create something useful. And that was a project to try and improve the life quality and the life expectancy of people with cystic fibrosis. So for most of my career, I have worked in opera. I write operas. So as you can imagine, I work with very big, very powerful, very agile voices. They can fill auditoriums much bigger than this. They can cut across an orchestra of 120 people. They can even shatter glass, so the story goes. They're like the professional athletes of singing and breathing. But Breath Cycle is a project. It's a community opera and singing project for fragile voices. People who you don't expect to find in an opera or in a song. Kind of disenfranchised or excluded from the world of singing. It's a series of exercises and opera scenes and duets and songs and lessons and interviews and online sharing alongside the monitoring of health and well-being. And all the music I made is informed by and performed by people with cystic fibrosis. I'll tell you a little bit about cystic fibrosis. So it's a genetic, incurable disease. It causes mucus to build up in the lungs. Now this causes breathing problems, as you can imagine. So persistent cough would be a symptom. Lung infections, shortness of breath. The pancreas can become obstructed. Over time, the lungs become scarred, the lungs become damaged, and they stop working. So the average life expectancy for somebody with cystic fibrosis in the UK is 31, which I find very shocking. But from first-hand experience, well, I met 25 people in my pilot study with cystic fibrosis. And in the last 18 months, 4 of them have died. And they were all younger than me. I have a good pal with cystic fibrosis, so we meet for a cup of tea every now and again. And she has good days and bad days. And on the bad days, I can tell because it seems to take quite a bit of time to get to the end of the sentence. And she said something that really stuck with me, and it's that on the bad days, she feels like she has to remember how to breathe. And we're very lucky. That's not something that occurs to us. We do take breathing for granted. For example, I've been breathing this whole time on stage, and you haven't even noticed. But let's not take the next one for granted. Sit up straight. Engage the diaphragm, as they say. And let's take a big breath. I really enjoyed that one, actually, I have to say. That helped. Now, we're very lucky because that was very easy. That's not so much the case for people with cystic fibrosis on their bad days. So I'd like to do another breath. Let's take a breath, but this time I'm going to give you a note to sing. And I want you to hold that note for as absolutely long as you can. Let's see who in the room can hold it for the longest. Bearing in mind, I have to be wrapped up quite soon. Yes. Now, don't feel there's a big jump from breathing to singing. There isn't. Singing, as far as I'm concerned, is just beautiful breathing. So, here's your note. Ah. 1, 2. Wow. Wow. If I overrun, it's your fault. No, I did that, the exact same little thing with people with cystic fibrosis at the start of our journey. I timed them to see how long they could sing a note. It's one of the little markers we put in the sand. And the average was about 3 to 4 seconds. So you'll see what I mean when I say that they are somehow disenfranchised from that world of breathing and singing that we find so natural. Now, every day, somebody with cystic fibrosis has to do physiotherapy. This is like a daily regime, a kind of very ritualistic series of exercises and techniques to get that mucus, to get that fluid out of their lungs. And it's quite an arduous process for up to 2 hours a day. And this is one of the first places I thought I'd like to help here. So I created a series of vocal exercises targeting lung function, but in collaboration with the physiotherapists up at Gartnavel Hospital in Glasgow. And we asked the participants over a period of time to do these vocal exercises alongside their physiotherapy. In many ways, I already see a lot of parallels between the lives of the singers I know and work with and the lives of people with cystic fibrosis, in that there is this ritualistic regime every day of keeping this instrument in top health and in good shape. Now, alongside those vocal exercises, we went into Gartnavel Hospital with, I must say, the support and collaboration of Dr. Gordon McGregor and his wonderful team in the respiratory ward. And we give singing lessons in the ward. And this is the absolute highlight of this whole thing I talk about. It's coming into the ward in the morning and hearing Marie-Claire Breen, my gorgeous vocal coach, singing with a participant and these beautiful voices coming down the corridor. And for me, that grabs me because there's nothing more thrilling, as far as I'm concerned, than hearing art or music somewhere where you don't expect to hear or see art or music. Now, I would like to stop. Now I'm going to show you a little clip of the kinds of things they get up to in these lessons.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Always forget.
Ah.
Ah. Hi. Shh, 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 shh.
Try that. So thank you.
Boom.
Good.
So actually that is a very traditional way to teach singing. It's one-to-one, we're face-to-face, and those are warm-up exercises and little vocal techniques that singers use all the time to keep that instrument working and to keep it at its maximum strength. So I mentioned that people with cystic fibrosis, there are certain barriers that exist between them and singing. And I said this is a community singing project. So not only are there barriers to singing, there are barriers to that other word, community, because people with cystic fibrosis aren't allowed to meet. They're not allowed in the same room as each other due to the dangers of cross-infection. So when I had the idea to make a community music project for a community who can't be together, it did seem vaguely impossible, but completely necessary. And I think the simple solutions are the best. And we just simply opened up an online forum, a place where they could upload their videos of doing their homework, of doing their exercises, singing their favorite songs. And I wanted it to be a positive learning environment online that was about singing, nothing else. And obviously they started to meet each other, they started to talk, and they really supported each other. And we got that sense of involvement that can be difficult when working with this group of people. Our vocal coach, Marie-Claire, she uploaded here too. She would upload feedback, videos, and little pointers, things to try out. And this was the little heart, the beating heart of our project right here. But I would like to show you another little clip, and this is the kind of videos that were turning up in our inbox and on our forum each week. They'd probably kill me for showing these.
Week 2, track number 1.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. Hey, big spender! Spend a little time with me.
Now, yes. I think you'll notice that some of them have more of an understanding of showbiz than others. Some of those camera angles weren't arrived at by chance, methinks. Now, as to what I did then at this stage, and I work with a writer called David Brock. He lives over in Canada, so we two collaborate online together. And we talked to the participants, and from those conversations, we made lyrics and we made libretto and text. And then I sat in and I watched them learn to sing every week. And from looking at their range, getting to know them, seeing, wanting to kind of help push on their vocal development, I created sort of very bespoke and tailor-made melodies and vocal lines for them to sing. So I do feel I wanted there to be that sense of ownership in the musical material, that it genuinely belonged to all of us. We made things like Skype duets where they could practice and perform together online. We made some YouTube video installations. And we made some ensemble pieces that we assembled in the recording studio together because I wanted them to be able to inhabit the same song even though they can't inhabit the same space. I think, why did we make these things? And it's just because there's nothing more exciting than having people who traditionally aren't supposed to be in an opera, in your opera. It's the best thing. I want to tell you now about the results that we have so far. So this was our pilot trial project. Most patients showed a decent increase in lung function. Now one delightful measure, which is FEV1, that marker, which is the amount of air you can blow in 1 second, which is very closely linked to your life expectancy, actually. And we got an average rise here of 14%, which is very encouraging. So we are now at the stage we are looking for more participants, and other hospitals are coming online to try this trial out. So we have hospitals over in Toronto and New York and across the UK, and we need to see 330 people with cystic fibrosis over the next few years. And I'm very excited by this because I can't wait to write music for people with cystic fibrosis all over the world to perform together. That's very exciting. And all these things make me wonder, and I always ask the question, what's opera all about? And who is it for, and who should be in it? And I think the answer is everybody. Now, I guess if I had one hope and dream for this whole project, it would be that in the future, singing and vocal training will very much be part of the way we treat and care for people with cystic fibrosis. That's my takeaway hope. So, actually, I'm going to stop soon, but before I go, let's have another breath together. Inhale. And I think that's how you know you're going to be okay in the future. Just keep breathing.